side wind. Straightforward, eyes on the climate. Not inside, no man at the climate. Burning in my third trimester. Shift eyes, they tell me you lying. Don't care, just lay him beside me. Hey time, chasing the rewind. Hey time, I need more space. I need less voices, just you and me. I need your attention, just scrutiny. Squeezing too tight, boy, you lose me. Boy, you lose.
Hello, hello, hello. It's giving blessed be the fruit.
May the Lord open.
May the Lord open. Lord, what good weather we're having. Lord. Thank you guys so much for being here. Happy Saturday. Did you watch the doc? Because I watched it. When I saw what it was and who it was and the way that I was watching what pray, keep sweet and pray, I was like, oh, this is going to be cooking, because it's always cooking over here in the worst ways possible with this community. But we appreciate you guys so much for being here. Be sure to hit that like button and give us a little bit of your commentary down below about what you think about what we had to say. Ashley, are you ready to get into the FDL of it all?
I am ready to get into all of the FDLS of it all. And I'm glad to finally be able to talk to somebody about it, because I talked to myself and I did my little upload, but I ain't talked to nobody who talks back. So yes, I'm ready to get this off my chest. I feel like, yeah, it's something that needs to be talked about.
It does. You know, we love talking to ourselves, but it's even better when you get somebody to talk back with you. But starting here and getting into these overall thoughts, I jumped, like I said, to go over here and watch it because of how Keep Sweet and Pray went about. And that deep dive was a very great documentary, but it was horrible. And I was like, what's going on in that community now? Isn't that man in jail? What had happened? And then we go over here and it's like, oh, it's literally you chop the head off of a snake and another one just appears. There's a community here that has the ability to fester and siphon from. I feel so bad for these people. I feel really bad for these people. I was really shocked here for the most part about what it takes to drop that hammer. How much evidence do you need? How much, surveillance do we need to do? How long do I need to put my life and others in jeopardy before the law that B steps in? That's crazy to me. Everything that occurred here and what our Miss Lady here, Christine, had to endure and pretend for how long, and everybody else who helped in this journey to get people held accountable and prosecuted, because go to hell, was too much and too long and really sad to look at. Because if it's like this with all the proof that she had, what is it for people who don't even have that much? Ashley, overall thoughts.
Overall thoughts. I've said it. I said it again. Christine Marie is a superhero. She even got her cape on and her cowboy boots, baby, and she was down with the get down. She and her husband. Shout out to Tolga, who stood by his woman. He said, we're stopping child SA. This is going to be hard, but we're going to get it done. I said, I know that's right. I love people who have a mission and are relentless. And I think she epitomizes that. But no, I feel like this is probably the best doc that I've watched in 2026 so far. I did not watch Keep Sweet, Pray, and all of that. I haven't watched that yet. People have been warning me about it. They're like, once you see it, you can't unsee it. But when I found out that the same director who did that one came over here to do this one, I said, all right, let me give it a try. And I really... The way that we are literally in real time with this predator and how she has to smile in his face to see the level of pride and hubris that he has, like he can't be touched. Like, I'm going to tell her everything because this needs to be documented. And I am him. I am the savior of the world. I thought that was super compelling. What I will say, something I guess that I didn't necessarily like based on the comments that I've seen back, like on social media and even on YouTube, it's like this idea of how could these women do that? How could they let themselves be whatever? And I really, before we get into discussing it, just like, because cults are a thing, and I've been watching and studying cults for years. And you have to know that when your grandmother, your great grandmother, your mother have all participated in something, it's the only thing that you know. And even though it's toxic and it's sick, it's your normal. You don't have the same way of thinking that people on the outside do. So as we discuss it, I hope you guys keep that in mind and try not to be too judgmental. Now, what I will say, I was glad the ones that went to jail, Tyra. I was. Them adult wives who participated in unsavory behavior, I was glad. But no, overall, I thought this was great. It's a compelling watch. It's worth every 4 episodes of it. It's worth all the 4, Tyra.
Actually, I need you to go watch Keep Sweet and Pray.
I'm scared.
I need you to go watch Keep Sweet and Pray.
That what you hear on there, you can't unhear it. And I think about it often. I said, I'm not doing over there.
I need you to go watch it, because what shook me so much with this one was how current it is. Keep Sweet and Pray is set in a certain time, and we didn't have someone on the inside like this to get current, wide-eyed HD footage. It's very old, and it's, kind of pieced together because this FDLS, it goes back so far. And then we work our way up to the, current leader, the Jeff Warren of it all. This is so current and so fresh. I'm like, oh my gosh. And it's so jarring to see their style of dress. It's almost like seeing an animal in the wild. Like it feels foreign, because the way they're dressed is so conservative and, old time. And it's like, this is what, a few years removed. This is awful.
Yeah, this is recent. Yeah.
Yeah. Watch Keep Sweet and Pray.
I'm gonna watch it. I might need some moral support.
You might seen it already.
No.
I thought you said I did. What I did. I sure watched it. But let's get into Christine Marie's journey to Short Creek. Now, I put Jackie of all trades, because girl, she said a job. All of them, check all the boxes. I'm going to be doing everything. I wasn't really sure. I like the way that this doc went about it, because Christine, in her journey to get in here, it made me nervous, because she seemed like someone who enjoyed the spotlight and was really maybe looking for a window. They said maybe she always had a different job, a different quest. She was a ventriloquist at one point. She was Miss whatever. She was in the pageant world. She was, behind this desk and on this side of the camera. She just tried, everything. I never knew her to be on the same task. And it's like, is she looking for to get accomplished in an area? Is she looking for notoriety and success, financial gain off of something else? Is she here for the right reasons? Which we'll get to, because maybe she was. But we were also a victim. She was a victim of this more so cult-based human trafficking. She said that, she was really familiar and followed maybe FDLS for quite some time, but it wasn't to the extent of the women in this community. But she understood, and it was like, yeah, now that I've brought myself out of that trafficking situation and I'm trying to hold other people accountable, I want to go help other communities. And we wind up going down there to Short Creek. But I really like Christine. I really like Christine, and I like that we didn't just jump directly into Sam Bateman. We spent some time with her to get to know her, because it could be easy to watch this and go, oh, she was looking for a come up. She stayed there this entire time in that community because she wanted something, and it was for good or bad. If I get to film and document these women suffering with a smile on my face and profit on it later, that's just what I'm going to do. But I'm going to pretend like I'm here and I care, and I'm, extending an olive branch, because I know I've been there. I've been trafficked, and I believed in a cult-like situation to the point that I was out here doing things that I don't even want to talk about now. But I feel like Christine was there for the right things. Ashley?
Yeah, I never got that sense from her. As soon as we saw her go into the community and she was like, all right, and we're going to start this business and I'm going to teach these ladies how to become self-sufficient. I was like, all right. And somebody dropped it in the comments and I thought it was so apt. She said, this is how you white savior. And it absolutely is. You come in the community, you give people skills, you create businesses, you really empower these people to do something different. She didn't come in judging. She didn't come in. She said, I'm here to be a resource. And then once the poppings off started popping off, oh, I need to do something, because children are involved. I love Christine Down. She has lived several lives. I said, okay. She said, yeah,
Mhm.
I was a beauty queen. Yes, I was a life coach. Yes, I've got my PhD in psychology and cult studies. I'm like, okay, sister, you did everything. And I thought it was perfect that her husband made music videos and was like a filmmaker, videographer. I said, what better? Oh, and I'm a puppeteer, and also, yeah, I was trafficked. I thought I was married to the prophet and he had me screwing all the men. He said when I orgasmed, it brought me closer to God. Like she has lived
Yeah.
beyond the pale. And no, I got an immediate sense of, okay. And some people were saying, oh, she gave Carol Baskin. And I was like, she's quirky and she's
Yeah.
different. But I love how single minded she was. She was laser focused and it was like, I'm not going to stop. And, they may get mad at me, but I'm here to accomplish this purpose. And even after the doc, I kind of went out there and there are so many interviews and panels with the survivors, the girls who actually came out of it.
Mm.
And they're like, Christine threw me my first party. I'd never had a birthday party. I
Oh.
call her to this day, like if I'm confused about something or if I'm feeling away, and she's always got the answers. She always answers the phone. And also the fact that she stays in the community after all this is said and done, no matter the back, they were cussing her out, calling her on the
Mm.
phone, like, who the hell do you think you are? You ain't blah, blah, blah. I'm going to stay here because y'all still need me. I love Christine Down. I think she was appointed just for this purpose. Like, it was incredible.
I'll say I was a little guarded with Christine because of the dedication, though it was, of course, for righteous reasons. I was just concerned because when does self-preservation kick in? I was like, ma'am,
You
now
getting too
look,
close.
because the people, they don't really care when the happening starts happening. It's just like, I'm gonna stay, I'm gonna document this, and I'm gonna catch something. I don't care if I'm just here off the back of me and my husband. If like, it's like if something happens, it happens. Girl's nervous, and then we would cut back and forth between her smiling and being all chummy, and she'll go right back into her little home or trailer or wherever she is, and it's just like, yeah, they said. I'm like, are your phones tapped? Like, I wouldn't put anything above them just because it's just a little mild mannered community. And maybe, baby, are they watching you? Is this a secure line, Christine? I just kept waiting. Like, girl, we have to also think about ourselves and our livelihood and our
Yeah.
husbands. You gonna keep going? So I just
She said,
wasn't sure. I was like, she dedicated, honey.
she
She's
was a G, triple
dedicated.
OG. Absolutely.
Absolutely. But getting into how we wound up here in the first place. Oh, actually, you gotta watch Keep Sweet and Pray, girl, because this man, oh Lord, is a diabolical man. Samuel is definitely cut from the Jeff Warren cloth, but you get to really see how far it goes back. I really felt sorry for this community. After I watched the doc, I really didn't think too much of it. I was like, oh, they'll probably go back, to their usual now that the nasty work has been apprehended, and who's to say we, weeded everyone out. But for the most part, I don't know why I just assumed that they would continue on in their practices and live their life, separately, and now I get to maybe choose. I don't know. But these people are stuck. These people are frozen in time at the point that Jeff Warren, he's child, how he was acting when he got locked up. But at this point of this doc, he still has full control. And yeah, since I'm not happy, I don't want anyone happy. Since I'm not, I ain't getting no conjugal visits. Ain't nobody rubbing on me. So yeah, we're not, we're not, which I thought was crazy, because the one thing that they really really live by is procreating, because we got to keep these daughters and these sons for nefarious reasons rolling in. So the fact that he told them that, look, no sex, no babies, no nothing, pause it, and we had all those cribs and bassinets all like, it's just tossed to the side, and life just literally stops for these people because he said that. And it's like, well, we just really don't know what to do for ourselves. And then and with that going on, we also have law enforcement rolling up, knocking on doors, unhousing these people. I don't know where you're gonna go, but you gotta get the hell up out of here. Sign this. It's like, yeah, I'm not signing that. I didn't participate in those behaviors. I'm not condoning that. I didn't really consider how the public ridicule and reputation could be for these people, because you do look at them and you would often go, really? How could you allow this to happen? How could you get so entrapped in follow this man. You're just as guilty as he is by association. So yeah, all of y'all are disturbed and disgusting. We want this whole community shut down, leaving these people without profit, really low key nowhere to go. And this is all that they know. So we're stuck up until the point that Christine arrives. And it's like, well, hell, if we're not out on our behinds yet, soon come, soon come, because we really don't have any skills. We really, we don't know anything about the outside. We rely solely as women mostly on our husbands, and our husbands, down bad, follow Jeff's word. And all we were told is that we shouldn't be having sex and procreating, and we are just paused. Thank goodness for Christine. Ashley, how did you feel about what you heard about Jeff Warren and him still getting that rule all the way from jail, and them, like, for the most part, trying to just kick these people out?
Yeah, Warren Jeffs was a lunatic. Warren Jeffs was a lunatic, but also came from a long line of lunatics. And so I know the background. I hadn't seen that documentary, but I'm well acquainted with the FLDS, the Fundamentalist Latter-day Saint movement. I've been down there in them streets, honey. I've been down in them Big Love streets. If you haven't been down those Big Love streets, go on and give it a whirl. It's a series. I believe it's still present on HBO Max, and you can go watch it. But I learned all about the principle. I learned all about the celestial kingdom, honey. I learned all about the plural marriage, the abuses, and all of that. But no, what stood out to me most, I think, was that, for better or for worse, really for worse most of the time, they are a self-sufficient people, right? Like, they're created to manage these businesses. And basically what happens is the prophets, the elders, all of the men are in charge, and they put the women out to work in several different businesses. And so when he goes to prison and says, yeah, none of that anymore, the people had no choice but to take those houses. They weren't paying taxes on them anymore, I'm sure. Things had just kind of stopped. He told them to stop doing everything. I can't, like you said, I can't get no coochie. Y'all can't have no coochie. Plus, they're all my wives. He had also exiled, or whatever, the other people who didn't line up with what he wants. Because a lot of times you'll see in this, when the man or the prophet gets into control, they get really sex crazed, and they don't want to share anything with anybody, and they get rid of all the boys, the teenagers, the men. That's why you see only women here. 9 times out of 10, they've already exiled all of the men. And so the women, they believe truly that the prophet is basically their God on earth. Like, there's no salvation to them outside of him. And so they're obedient at any cost. And so when he's in prison, of course, he's giving orders initially, but then he loses his mind. And, what do you do now? So now all communication is stopped, and they think they've stopped hearing from God, because he's not. So they were just so vulnerable and so ripe for a predator to come in. Like you said, they were losing their homesteads that had been in their families for hundreds of years. They were losing all of their land. They were unhoused. They had no skills outside of, tilling the land in their prairie dresses to do anything with. It was ripe for Sam to come in at that moment. They were just out there floundering. It's unfortunate, but that's what it was.
What sends me is, like, I have here this leadership in a vacuum. It's so Jeff Warren or bust, because he's the prophet. He's the main line to my salvation. Without it, I'm lost. Then someone could come in and whisper something, and we just drop it. I was like, I really would expect a little bit more resistance. And I don't know, I'm sure they didn't get into maybe the community being divided, like, well, hey, Jeff said this, but who's this Sam guy? It was just dropped immediately. But once Christine gets there, she's questioned. I just wanted to put this in here because Christine was doing work, the Lord's work, literally, because there's resistance here. We've had, infiltration happen, and we lost our first prophet. What do you come here for? Ever since that incident occurred, there's been, camera crews rolling up, people trying to profit off of our story. You're yet another one coming here all eccentric with your little Barbie dream house clothes, your pink, your cowgirl get up, you and your husband. Like, what are you here for? And she came here and she taught these people trades. We started businesses off our own back. Like, I want you guys to be successful. I only came, it's rare. I can understand why they're guarded, not just in a religious sense, but nobody's just coming to help someone just out of the kindness of their heart, just because you can relate and I want to do this. And I think it was Vision Destiny. I forgot the name of her nonprofit, but yeah, I'm here to do this. Now, in my journey to do this, I also uncover other things, but I willfully came here to help out of the kindness of my own heart. That was very, very rare. She just showed up there assisting and supporting. And it's like, I don't know why people would be so judgmental to the point to just assume that every single person in this community is following down that dark hole. They don't deserve, any care, any love, any windows of opportunity to, okay, well, if you don't have a trade, if you don't have whatever, I can help you in this way. They just wanted to uproot them out of this. Like, this is all they know. This is all they know. So to not even give them any type of leverage or an ultimatum of, well, do this, it's just like, we just need to be naturally told what to do. But we do, we do know that we don't want to leave our communities, our family, our homestead, our foundation. And we have this one person step in to help them not be able to do that. It feels like if Christine didn't get there, it was going to be deaded. Every single thing. And then Christine got here, and it's like she's helping the women. She's also helping the men. I'm helping
Mhm.
everyone. And I'm really glad that she did that, but I just would hope that a Christine would be a window for them to know that it's not just, leadership in a vacuum. You can find your salvation and your purpose outside of a Jeff Warren or this community, but they just see it as someone who's going to help us maintain our lifestyle as usual, and we appreciate her at this point. But Ashley, what did you feel about them being a little guarded? Because they was like, yeah, we opened this little store, but I didn't know if we could open this store because I didn't know her like that.
Yeah, I think the major difference, of course, with her coming in there versus Sam. Sam had been a part of the community at one point and then got pushed out. And then when he comes back, he's got backing of the other elders. He's got backing of Maroney and all those other freakish Epstein men that are a part of the community. So he's got kind of the backing of that, and he's a familiar face, whereas she's coming in as this outsider. And their perception, from what I've learned, is that the Gentiles are here to ruin us. They do not want us to be great. They do not like our principle. They don't believe in what we do. They're here to judge us. And so I think that's ingrained in them to be on guard, right? Because if the wrong person finds out about their lifestyle, the plural marriage, the underage, whatever, somebody else is going to jail. So I think that's what she had to contend with, but she got it out of the mud. I think being herself, showing like, hey, no, I'm really here to help you. And then how word of mouth gets, like, well, she helped me do this and she's really nice, actually. So whatever. And then ultimately feeding that maniac's ego helped even more because, oh yeah, he does that. Oh, I'm going to send my wives over. They'll help you. They'll help you with that because you're part of the community and you're going to know, trust me, that I'm the prophet. Like you're going to know, Christine. Now it's about me convincing you. That was so crazy, but I get it. I get their trepidation. I get their hesitation. It almost feels like, and I mean, this is white on white crime, right? But it almost feels like when people come in, a lot of times they do want to colonize your mindset, the way you do things. And she came in like, I'm not trying to change you. I just want to make your life better where you're at. And that's why, when they said she white saviored, right? That's exactly what you do. You don't come in and disrupt somebody's community in a way, changing the way that they do everything in their lives. You come in and you try to give them systems and practices that can make their lives better where they're at. But yeah, she won them over by being kind and being consistent,
It was the pink. So it was the pink in the ponytail. Got my ponytail. It was the pink in the ponytail.
Baby, them boots did everything I needed. I said, you better wear them boots, girl. In a ponytail. She had a
What
ponytail.
sends me? I shouldn't have expected anything different from Samuel Bateman than we got from Jeff Warren or, the predecessors before him, his father and his father before him. They're so unimpressive. They're rarely like, and not to say that we need those, but it's like I could see the charm. I could see the lure. Oh, you know what? He can convince me. No. The main thing I wanted to see here when I saw this doc after watching Keep Sweet and Pray, I was like, I wonder how he got in to get these people to trust him and believe that he was the new prophet. You run and say the same thing that Jeff Warren said way back. I was like, no, and it's crazy because like nobody goes, there's a pattern here. Big Daddy Jeff Warren told us the same thing about his father before he took over to implement the things that he wanted to do how he wanted to. But he's already on the outs. And the women who, weren't for the take, it was like, yeah, we all knew about Samuel Bateman. He wasn't, which is crazy to me because, they're trained to go and speak highly of the man here. And it's very, head down. It was like, yeah, he was just never like he wasn't T. Nobody was really ever checking for him. Yes, he did have his wives or whatever, but he was never really successful in that, right? The wife that he did have, he was going through a divorce. And yeah, he just was kind of out of the community. We weren't checking until he got there and said, Jeff, yeah, he's falling on hard times. His mind is going. He's actually kind of dead. Yeah, he's just not. Yeah, it's kind of non-existent. But before that occurred, it was laid up on me, bestowed, just like him, that I'm the new prophet. And it's just like, well, he said it, so it's gold. Y'all don't need nothing else. Y'all don't need anything else. Now, I do know that, they are raised up from birth believing this, and it's just kind of passed down. But I'm like, he didn't have to do nothing. And he offers absolutely nothing. But the way that he was just able to slide in the same way was wild to me. But I guess it's to be expected with this community because it's definitely not giving see something, say something. For anybody who did maybe feel, you know what, I'm not really believing that he's the new prophet. I don't like how he just slid in here off the back of Jeff Warren kind of saying and doing the same things that he did. I'm in opposed to it. It's like, no, I'm sure at this point, what it feels like after watching this, anybody who was in the position to oppose anything that Jeff had going on was kind of out before and after. So I'm really questioning who was left there other than the women, as far as the husbands who were in charge, who would be in the position to say, no, I don't believe that. It seems like everything was right for the picking for him to come in and pull this little ruse. He just had, space and opportunity. Any one of them could have done this. He just decided to be the manipulator. Actually, he's the new prophet. He just came in and with that same lie.
Yeah, I mean, it almost gave like idiot savant. And I know they don't use that terminology anymore, but I was like, this dummy, like he is, oh, I had a dream. And it was so like, he's so idiotic. And if you watch and you hear the interviews and even his interactions with Christine are just so like, yeah, because I'm the goal is to be the ultimate ruler of North America, South America, and England, because I'm going to marry the queen. He's going to come over and I'm going to, it's just such delusions of grandeur. But then on the other side, having the awareness to know that, oh, this is a broken people, right? These men out here want to get back to their proclivities, so all I have to say is you're back in the fold. Wink, wink, wink. I had a dream. He told me I was the prophet. I was the heir apparent, to the cult. And for them to second that, Moroni to be like, yeah, I had a dream. And that's when I knew. And I had that feeling. Then we talked to the wives. Yeah, because it came over me and I didn't know. Yeah, you just couldn't handle it, could you? Like coaching her through it as we're talking about how they all had the awareness that he was like the second coming. It's just sick and sad. But again, Warren Jeff's daddy, they were not charismatic, brilliant men at all.
At least they had lineage behind them. They had the name behind. He has nothing. He just showed up and said, I'm the prophet, like I'm the Messiah. Well, he said so that's just the law now.
Well,
what?
They believe it. If it's confirmed for 2 or 3, if you get your witnesses in line and they confirm it and there's nobody else there to contest it, those nasty men wanted to be back in the scene. They wanted to be back there. And everybody at this point was just looking for direction. It was like a kingdom without a king at that point. And I think they all were just looking for, they were so dependent on this man to give them instructions on what to do that anybody who was a part of the community, represented the community, said the right thing in that moment, I think they would have let him ride. I do. Unfortunately,
it was just that they didn't have like a good thing to say about him. It's like, well, yeah, he was quite nobody was checking for him. But when I'm saying like, oh, I'm the new prophet, it's just even if the man wanted to, because of course we know that they wanted to continue business as usual, because who's not having sex, who's not whatever, to watch him hop over the mountains, it was very. You remember Stewie on Mad TV? Like, look what I can do. Look what I can do. He's hopping. Oh, yes, you didn't. You know, I could hop like that. Did you? Did you see me? He was when the husband said, "Yeah, those jumps on that motorbike." It was just uninspired. He could never really do anything good. It was just everybody was suffering. He would go try to do all of these unimpressive things. The women behind me on camera, they were crying. It was a miserable time. We had to sit here with this fool. We had to sit here with this fool. And it's just like, yeah, his little ideologies were ridiculous. And it's like delusional. He's not even getting back into Jeff Warren, which is what he would do. He would double down on it being faith based and I'm creating it this way, but it's blessed in the word. It's all draped in the word for you to believe it. His beliefs, I'm like, what? You're gonna do what? Yeah, so it's like, yeah, this is a slideshow of everything I want, and how he just jumped off, and it was all based in financial gain, and it was Beamer, Benz, or Bentley, and white pleather jackets. I said, sir, sir. So that's why I'm saying if anybody else just wanted to jump in and step in, they could, even though it was for nefarious reasons. You wouldn't have to give your whole left foot and all of your weekend earnings turned over to him just to residing that. But y'all let him take the wheel, and now we have to stroke his ego, which is this big. Baby, the way Christine being just over it would throw me. She'd be like, oh my God, yes, what? Really? So you're gonna, okay, then she would leave. Oh my God, I hate him so much. I just he's so damn stupid. I hate it. It's just ridiculous. How long am I going to have to, do this? The women and the disgust that's happening here is one thing, but just to sit there and watch and hear him spew these ridiculous ideas, it's crazy. But he pulled Christine into the fold. Christine already, her antennas were already up. She said, like, something's going on. She was like, children are in danger.
That's right.
She's like, children are in danger. I can't, in good conscience, do what I came here to do and just leave. Nobody else is doing anything. I'm going to document, and I'm just going to wait and have my little turn in the background, and maybe I'll catch something. His ego is so out the window. He says, hey, come over here and capture this greatness, Christine. Where you want me? You want me to stand over there? Where you need me? Meanwhile, everybody's the women are kind of guarded, like, well, this is kind of for him to be so bright. This is kind of how we got Jeff. Too much information let out. Too many people knowing about how we conduct our everyday lives. All it takes is one wrong moment, one wrong phrase, one wrong misplaced photo, and we're out. You sure? Oh no, shut up. She knows what she came here to do. She came to capture me because I'm the main attraction. Look what I can do. Stewie, go sit down. Ashley, we're following and we're documenting greatness.
We are. And it was Christine for me at one point during it. Like, and ladies, you can say no, right? He's like, yeah. If anybody on the outside has anything to say to you, you can say, if anyone hurts you, babies, you don't have to do. Yeah. What she's listen to Christine. I'm like, sir, you're so idiotic that you can't even conceptualize that she's talking about you in that moment. Like you said, the ego was just out of control. That tired pleather 1982 thriller jacket pissed me off, Tyra, and his little Elvis bouffant. Because what are you doing with this hair, ugly? I can't stand him, Tyra. It was so aggravating driving around in a Bentley in degradation and squalor. You don't even have walls, sir. You've got plywood. You've got plywood and dirty diapers stacked up. You don't have clearly running water or maybe even indoor plumbing, but you're driving around in this pleather jacket in a Bentley.
Yeah.
Your grass isn't even cut, buddy. You don't even have a full ceiling. You have tractor trailers on bricks in the back of this compound, sir. Like it pissed me off to no end. But no, ego is the death of all of them. Because at this point, it's about documenting this journey. Because this is about world domination. Ultimately,
who was he expecting to see this, and what reaction did he think that they were going to have to it? Ashley, I need to know.
I don't know. He's like, yeah, because for when we take over the world. And she's asking the girls, what are your goals for? Like, well, my goal, yeah, I'm going to run all this. You may not see it yet, Christine, but one day you'll know I was the prophet. And then these journals on journals on journals
Yeah.
on journals. And not only that, but yeah, my little girls, my little ones. Yeah, my little wives. It pains me every time I have to pass them around. What? You're going to jail, sir. But maybe not the way the local police handled it. But yeah, Tyra,
I just
this is
can't.
ridiculous.
I just can't. I just can't. Like, what's wrong with you, sir? Look what I can do. Like, he invited her in. I was wondering, I was like, so how did Christine work this? How long did she have to watch from afar? All of 5 minutes, because he said, come get some of this greatness, Christine. This needs to be documented. Someone needs to see why I'm the prophet and what I'm doing here. He believed his own hype immediately. But we're able to finesse and get in here real easy because we came in here and validated stank behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately. I don't know. I don't even want to say that because I don't want to put the community under one umbrella. But I'm like, I don't even know why I tried with y'all. I don't even know why. We get in here and Maroney and what was it? Torrance. And it's just
Mm-hmm.
like, you're gonna let me do what I've been probably doing on the low, but I can do out loud even more of it if I give you all my wives.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh
If
my
I give you all
gosh,
my
yeah.
wives, give you my daughters, I can just be carte
Husband.
blanche around here and be sadistic as hell. And I'm also going to push your agenda. So maybe we can gather other folks. I think we pinpoint these two men because out of the whole fleet of whoever was left, they were the more successful. Baby Sam didn't have nothing going on. He ain't have a piss in, a window to throw it out of. So it's like, yeah, you're gonna let me do that? Oh, well, you can have whatever you want. I don't have the courage of my stank convictions to take on that throne and say I'm the prophet. I just want to lay low and still pretend to be a good man, Savannah. All the while, I'm partaking in the same things that you are. I'll just give you all my wives and all my daughters. And yeah, that's just that. All of those wives and daughters, it was crazy. I really hated every moment that I had to see them fun and cater to his ego, loving all of just, oh my God. Oh, and he's just soaking it up. And he's just soaking it up. Meanwhile, these two are in the background funding the Beamer Benz or Bentley mentality, those pleather jackets, those boots, him believing that you two one day, that whole I don't know what it looked like, a plantation. He had
Mm-hmm.
dreams of building, and then I'm going to get access to the queen, and we're going to fund this as long as we can do what we want to do in the background. This was trash. And I really do try with the community, but there's never going to be any tie that seems like we're going to have a responsibility to our own offspring or our wife. If you're going to give me access and I can trade you for something else, I'm going to do that. And right now, this man wants you. And to see these women not have any choice and be indoctrinated in this way, it's very modern day slavery. We already have them working 24/7 because y'all don't do anything. For the most part, these two men, maybe aside from that, and I think Torrance worked underneath Maroney, but y'all don't do anything. Any of the brunt physical work that's done in and outside of the community is by these women. And it's just like, yeah, I'll hand you over. Meanwhile, they are suffering in silence. They are in fear for their children. I know a lot of the mothers just felt like, let me at least be there so I can watch over my babies or in the best way that I can, but I don't have the ability to object to any of this. We just have to go along to get along. So if I have to hand over my 5-year-old daughter to Sam, I'm going to do that because that's what my husband told me to do. This was disgusting. Ashley.
And the threats, right? Because the one mom, Julia, who, was stayed Maroney's wife as long as she did, he said, I'd never see my baby boy again. Like, I'd never see my son again if I didn't give 5 of my daughters over to Sam to be his wives. This all to me boils down to human depravity. Those two, Torrance, Maroney, and that other guy, whoever they were, are depraved predators, right? They missed their kicks and giggles messing with those young girls. Let's get him back in play so I can have full access again. Maroney, the worst. They said that he was doing stuff in there with his girls in the room. Like, you needed to be up under the jail. All of them did. But the idea that you were willing to barter your children, like you think, and again, I know this is how you're raised. But there has got to be something on the inside of you as a father that would say, something doesn't feel right about this. Like, I I can't. I just, it's the fact for me that some of the other women went over with their daughters, married to the same man, not because I
Mhm.
need to watch you, but because I really think that Sam is the prophet and this is
Profit.
God's will.
That's what they
What?
do every time. Watch that
What?
Keep Sweet and Pray.
It's
See what
so
happens.
it's hard again from the outside looking in. It's so hard to conceptualize it because it's so completely warped from the real way of things. Um, but you have to know something's sick. And Sam eating it all up. He's loving the adoration. He's loving the praise. I think what I thought was most interesting here is that the girls we saw on the documentary, what we see on screen is not the real girls. When brother
Yeah.
came, the teenage boy that came and was like, no, my sisters cussed him out. They thought he was terrible, until we see these girls like, oh, our king, our prophet, our whatever, we love you. We love you. It's like, oh no, this is a whole act. This is a whole
Mhm.
act that you have to put on in front of company or you're going to be severely punished. And they didn't even go into what the punishments were, but I'm sure it was heinous and out of control. But no, this is sick. This is sick men doing what sick men want to do under the guise of this religion that none of them were following. They weren't following no real religion.
It was the fact for me that they wanted to do it so badly that it was like, well, I just assumed when I handed over my wives and daughters that it was just, that, and I could resume business as usual. No, you want my finances, you want me to fund this, whatever car, whatever idiotic thought you have in your head or whatever command, I have to kind of jump at it, or don't make me out you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make me really, uncuff what we really have going on here, or maybe even blow up your spot to the point that, yeah, well, you wanted it that bad that because he act like he was stressed out. Maroney acts stressed out, like, oh my god, him and these ridiculous demands. But if that means I get to do what I need to do, I'm gonna work a little harder and make sure I send you that check.
Which is
Crazy.
crazy. All for them to still get put out again. He said he ended up
Absolutely.
putting the men out again at the end. Like, yeah, y'all got to get out of here. I can't share no more. I want them all in my little 2 bedroom
All of them.
squalor
Like, how
flat.
many women, wives, like, oh my goodness. Now, at this point, I was done.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was done several times because we we have poor Christine. Christine has endured, and it was really heart wrenching to see Christine really battle with this guilt because she's like, I'm about to ruin and pull the rug from underneath this community and these women that I care about so much, but I keep having to tell myself that I'm doing the right thing and I have to save them more so from themselves, and somebody has to consider their children. So maybe if I wait a little longer, if I get them comfortable enough, they'll unveil something, and we slowly see and hear the women say certain things at the point that we have, because I think we went to the police the first time, him and his delicate sensibilities. I really want to know how much the local police department is making off of this. What's your take? What is your take? Like, what are you making? This gave profit. I'm sorry. It's like we're in on it because there is no way you see and hear all of this, and it's just like, it was one thing if Christine just came here with her word. Everything was vividly documented, every single moment. You could see it, you could hear it. What's left? So when she feels like, okay, I feel like there's child abuse going on. I don't quite have enough information about that, but I do know that there are grown women here suffering. They're miserable. They're crying. We have them in the background saying these things, doing these things. Let me bring it here to at least elucidate to that there's abuse going on and somebody needs to step in. Yeah, that's not enough. That's not enough. Okay, fine. Let me get in because it's very hard. It's hard in the paint to get solo time with these women, especially with Sam constantly wanting center stage. And we finally get some of the underage wives confirming that there is sexual things going on. I did lose my virginity. I did do X, Y, and Z with him. And it was weird. It was that. Yeah. When that man, that officer said, that's just not something I want to look at and hear all the time. Yeah, well, yeah, we got it. Because Christine is blowing them up. She's calling every day. She's sending messages. When are we going to step in? When are we going to do something? I haven't heard anything back. Yeah, it's like eyes getting to it, boss. I kind of seen it, but it's just not, it's not enough, Christine. We need more. We need more before we step in and absolutely believe that there is child abuse going on and they're in danger at all. Can you do something else? Christine is losing it at this point. She's like, I really don't even know. Once we got to the moment where Samuel is feeling himself so hard in his Beamer Benz or Bentley in his pleather jacket. But he's also stressed. You know, he's been on one all day. It seemed like he wanted to confess. So he invited us and a few girls that he handpicked out of nowhere to get in the car and go for a little ride, assuming that they didn't have anything. Baby Christine said, I pulled out my phone. I slid it
Mm-hmm.
out and hit record because I'm going to catch this. And it's like, well, yeah, I'm really feeling stressed out and trying to just really deal with what I did. It's like, well, what did you do? Well, I had my underage wives and some of the girls here sleep with this man and that man, and this one was brought in there to watch. And I'm really having a tough time dealing with knowing that I did the righteous thing because I'm the prophet, and it was told to me that I needed to do these things, partake, and visually get into it. And we ain't even really deep dive into it feels like he was, I don't know if he was streaming things and doing different things for profit with these girls and who all were really watching, but it's confirmed that they are underage. We even have them, he's like, oh, you mean these young ladies who are in the vehicle with us now? And they're going on about, you know, how it was uncomfortable and it was painful. And he's like, oh no, it was joyous. You did this and it served this purpose. Say it back to me. Ridiculous, crazy. We bring this to the officer of the law.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, yeah, we need a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
What do you need? What do you need? What do you need? Meanwhile, Christine is dying on the inside. And you're telling me this? By the time we work our way over to the FBI agent and we kind of hand over the same information, and she spews out, oh my God, how could you not do something or step in when you have all of this information? This is crazy. I'm assuming that immediately you're going to step in right now. It's like, no, well, we still got to wait. We still need a little bit. What do you need? I thought that this was crazy. Ashley, what was the holdup?
Oh, them officers are partaking. They're partaking in the community, just like he traded them girls to them other men. He probably traded them girls to the officer. The fact that he said roly poly oly up there said, yeah, my gentle heart, you know, my
Yeah.
gentle ears can't take that. Like, what the, I'm calling the police on you as well, because immediately get the alphabet people, get the CIA, get the FBI, get anybody we can on the horn. Because my thing is, you don't just say that, right? Like, you say, all right, no, not enough, can't do that, but you never come back to this lady and say, well, what you can do is, or what we do need is, or, you know, well, maybe you can call in an anonymous tip to X, Y, or Z, and they can come in. Maybe you can send this footage to CPS and they can at least get the babies out of harm's way. The fact that we go almost a year after that initial conversation with the police, these babies are continuing to be SA'd, and you're living your life. You and those other 7 officers in Colorado City, Arizona are just living your best lives, not giving a damn. Sent me through there, Tyra. And so she's still like, I don't know what to do. They're not returning my calls at this point. I have nothing to do. And then when we hear from Dawn, the FBI agent, she's like, they should have done something immediately. Like, yeah, I get it. We don't have all of the evidence we need, but there should have been some intervention to at least try to save the girls. If that sort of a sexual allegation was made, wouldn't you immediately call DCFS, have them come, have them interviewed, have them checked by a doctor to see the status of everything? That would have right then put an end to the abuse of at least the underage children and
I
allowed
feel
them
like
to
she
go.
still moved slow. The FBI was still moving slow for me too.
I mean, to me, there's no justification. Like, I get it. A lot of times it's harder to prosecute cults when it's adults because people have made their own choices and that becomes a
Understandable. But we
different thing.
got these kids on
But you
tape,
have
and you still said
minor,
no.
listen, 9, 8, God knows what else. God knows what we didn't even see or what they didn't even talk about. But you have babies that went and obtained additional years of abuse because you didn't take any action. You didn't try to help her build a case. You didn't do jack. And Dawn tried to do what she could do, but it was still like, even after all that, it was like, do we have enough? Are we going to be able to get the girls to turn? Because then you have them. Then we get to the getting.
It's just the goalpost is always moved. It's just like, well, now that we have it, do we have someone that's not an adult but a child that can contest to that these things actually happen and are not going to fly? Like, they're under Samuel's thumb. Y'all putting a lot of pressure and expectation on people who are being abused. Why isn't this enough? This was crazy to me. Not the FBI was whatever. The man down there, the police department, all 10 officers that are in the central area, all y'all shame. Ought be shame. Who's in on it? What are you doing? Because you're doing something. There's no way you turn your head and you told me. She's like,
No.
I can't even get a call back. He act like Christine was getting on his nerves. It's like, oh my god, what? Oh my god, she was calling so much. Like I couldn't. I was telling her like I was doing what I can, but all of the footage and the video footage and the visuals and the voice notes that she was
I
sending
mean,
over, my
literally have him
delicate
confessing.
sensibilities
Listen,
can't
literally
take
him
that.
confessing to doing this to these girls, and he's saying, yeah, he could deny it.
He can deny it. It's just not. It's her. It's this their word against his. Like, do you have anything like on the children? Baby Christine was jumping hallelujah when he said that in the car. She was like, "I finally got it." After all this time, just waiting, hearing Stewie in his pleather jacket go through the motions of this ridiculousness. Now you can go down because I got you red-handed, and then they still said no. I don't know. This is crazy. I need everybody to be investigated.
All of them.
Everybody, especially the police department. Because if you weren't partaking, you weren't in on the take. I don't know what it is. Because what does it take to just come and instill a little fear, knock on a little door to make his ass straighten up? But we got Julia, the good wife. Poor Julia. Julia said, I just want to reside in my faith and do my practices. That's all I want to do. This is not what I signed up for. After we leave Christine and we realize, even with the FBI, we still need some witnesses. We need someone who can attest. Can you get anybody to turn and flip? She's like, girl, are you crazy? Even the way that I feel like the FBI, the agent Don was playing with Chris, she's like, well, if you're not comfortable, we don't want you to jeopardize your life. You sure? You feel comfortable being in those rooms, in those spaces? You can, like, if I walk away, then what? Nothing's going to get done. It's all going to stop here. So you can't dangle a carrot in my face and say I could leave at any time if I'm feeling unsafe. I feel unsafe every damn day and I'm still in here. Now you're saying that I have to go to these devoted women, which I'm glad she didn't. She's like, I'm going to wait and see who comes to me. So she's just waiting. And this poor woman, she's just like, well, let me go rake some leaves in her yard. I'm so scared. I'm so terrified because what this could mean for me and my household, the way that dusty husband said, if you don't give those daughters over, yeah, you'll never see your son again. You'll never see him again. So to even hold that above her, it was so much fear. So for her to break down, when they broke down how long it took for her to just slowly unravel certain things and giving her this confidence and how she was like a thief in the night, moving around, making sure she's going unseen. I don't need anybody to see me doing anything with Christine or anything to the side, especially my husband. It's over for me. A lot of these men, especially in this community, they're not above murder, death, kills to contain their
Listen.
secrets. Okay. We're down for everything. They're nefarious in every single way. So to have this still going on and they're still like, oh, we need more. Can she get more detail? So she's also an op, but she's on the back end trying to gather more information. Let me go through the records, see if I can grab socials because we don't have any of those things. For the most part, when and if things go down, y'all might not even know who these babies, who they really are. They'll be displaced. We got to keep everything together. This was hard, but I was really glad that Julia stepped up because if she didn't, it was going to be at a halt and we were going to be stuck. Ashley?
I had such complex emotions and feelings around Julia. Because on one side of that, you are the mother who laid your 5 daughters at the altar of this predator, right? And something in you automatically knew, which is why later when we see her sweeping the grass outside of Christine's, it's like, I knew. Like we see, there's an earlier clip in the documentary where Christine's kind of talking in code and she looks, and I'm like, oh, Julia been peeped the game. So it's like you knew it was safe now to approach this woman who could potentially help you. And I thought that was cool how then Christine shares her story and she's like, oh my God, it's like she has this moment of revelation in all of this. Like, this is wrong. Like, how did I ever believe it wasn't? And now I'm on this quest. I appreciate the sincerity of the moment when she realizes she was wrong. And she says, I have to tell the heinous things that I've been a part of while I've been here and what I did to my girls. Like, Julia to me is like the epitome of transformation, like how you can go from one thing and become a completely different person by the end of it, ultimately, I feel like she did right for her kids. They say she documented everything. She sat there and let Sam berate her and cuss her out and call her all kind of bees and everything else because of what Moroni was saying about her or whatever. And she stood firm. She was like, I'm not going to lose my girls. And then ultimately, when we get to the end and she makes her choice, like, how can I tell them to leave and I'm not willing to? I thought she was an MVP here. I thought she did what needed to be done. But like I said, I still do have complex feelings because had she tried to find an escape route before then, and I get it, there's fear and you don't know, but to me, there's got to be something in the motherly instinct that like calls to you and is like, not my baby, not my babies, not five of them.
No,
No. Like,
no,
what can I do? But I'm grateful that she came around at the end. But I wrestle with it. It's not like
no.
a cut and dry
And she did
situation.
gonna put them husbands first every time.
I
And my
know. And I
husband said
just,
that I had to do this. So whether I think it's wrong or not, I have to do it and I have to go with him. At least I get to go with him.
what she say? I bash Mistress Head in and think about heaven later.
I
Listen,
thought I thought she was the
you
perfect
know,
specimen to really display the mental state of these women and how these
yeah,
things can occur and how they can just go along with them. And it's just like, well, enough is enough. Baby, when they open those journals and his classes, him teaching, and this is what you
girl.
have them writing over and over, this ultra mind control. I said, what? It was love Sam, pick Sam, be there for Sam. It's all ending in Sam, 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 Sam.
Effing love Sam. I effing love Sam so bad. What? And them
Crazy.
little girls cuss like sailors. I said he taught them to cuss.
But I'm just glad that she was able to do something because it was like, yeah, if we don't get a witness, we're not moving. How much evidence do y'all need? Because baby,
Honest, they
you know
had you literally have like what you say 4K video evidence of everything that's being discussed. What else? What else could they have done except plant cameras in the compound? That's the only other thing he could have
no,
done. They could have
that
done.
might have not been enough anyway. Because the way that he thought, like, oh, as long as I'm not photographed, all put young ones to the back. I don't want to be. That's how they call Jeff. Put all the young brides at the back. I don't want to be seen with that. But yes, as long as that's clear, I'm good because they're not going to really investigate. And the only we move with this type of confidence when we have the offices of the law in our pocket. That's the
Yeah.
only time we move like this because there's no way he was not scared. The way he invited Christine in, moving how he moves, the main thing would be privacy. And if you're not in the compound, in the cult, in the FDLS of it all, you're not getting in here, especially not with a damn camera. Are you crazy? No,
Yeah.
he left it wide open because the first, the ego was that. But I don't think he thought that he could be touched.
No,
And
he
we
thought he
don't
was
have that
invisible.
unless we have some type of protection. That's why I'm like, y'all
Well,
have to be in on it.
also, he's really had delusions of grandeur. Like I really believe in some universe, he really thought he was somebody. He really did. He really did.
Girl.
It was crazy as
But
hell.
at some point in time, I don't know if we thought the scene was up. I really wanted some more clarity at this moment because we kind of jump. I don't know if he maybe started to think that water was getting wet. It was like, you know what? Let's pack up a select few of girls, hop in the back, and we're about to go with whatever items that we can throw in here. Go where? Where were you going? And why? If you thought that everything was okay, I'm like, this gave somebody in that department gave him a tip to me. Somebody
Mhm.
maybe said something and it was like, I can't tell you everything, but the block is hot. You might want to simmer down a little bit. And maybe he got spooked just enough to let me garner what I can and just get out of here. Thankfully, that's why I was like, these babies were suffering in silence because you're only going to put your hands out the back if you want to be seen. And say, if anybody sees like there's precious cargo back here, please stop this because we don't know where we're going and where we're going to end up. We're probably separated from whatever could be a little link of salvation from our mothers because we selected who we wanted to take, and now we're in the back of here at the whim of Sam. Yeah, we're in the back. Please help us. Somebody calls. I was like, oh, what part of the law is this? Because they was on it. They said, baby, open them doors. Close them doors. Open them doors. Like get these kids out the back. I love how, which I hate, how they could cut it on and cut it off because you put your hands out here because you wanted to be seen and wanted to be rescued. But once we're out here and we amongst the rest of the family and even Sam, we have to act accordingly. It's so much pretending here and so many masks that they have to wear from such a young age. It's just really easy to see how we could just fall into something so sick like this. But Sam gets out and it's, where are you going? What is your name? Baby, the way they're going to defend this man, the way they're going to protect him, that's their first agenda. Always protect Sam. She said, you can't arrest him. You can't do that. Get off of him. Say, first of all, you're not going to dictate how this is going to go. I'm going to lock his ass up and you're going to go over there. This isn't that. Baby, you're not on the compound anymore under Sam's thumb. Go over there. And then we do that, and in the span of a blink, we're getting calls. How's it going? Don't worry, because Big Daddy Sam will be home soon. Because our Torrance, I think Torrance rolled up with the check, the big check, and bailed his ass out. So that was just that. But Ashley, how did you feel when the police finally rolled up, not only to catch him here, but it was like, yeah, we might need to do a little bit more investigation. I don't know what part of the department this was or how far we were away for them to step in a different way than I feel like those people closest to it and their delicate sensibilities were doing nothing. But FBI pops out, Don and them say, yeah, simmer down, don't do nothing. You're putting our case in jeopardy trying to investigate him further because this looks fishy. Sit down and just let them bail him out and keep his phone. I was like, you know what? I guess. Ashley.
I mean, it all ended. Don's plan ended up working at the end of the day. So I ain't too mad at Don. But I love this was actually Flagstaff. So this was in a more, Flagstaff isn't a huge city, but it's a college town and they have a police force on day. Shout out to NAU. All right. But yeah, they did what needed to be done. Because what's your name? Samuel. That interrogation pissed me off so bad. But no, they came here because sit the F over there. What do you got these girls in here for? Why are they hanging behind this curtain? Come out. What are y'all doing? What's something don't smell right in here? And we're gonna get to the bottom of it. And I like that kind of energy because slam them on the ground and beat them up. Now, as far as his bottom B, because that's all I can call her, Tyra. Because listen, she wasn't playing no games. That was her man. She said, it took me a while to get there. But once I got there, it was all about him. I think it's so telling how we saw even the little girls cussing. Leave us the F alone and blah,
you're ruining lives. I fucking hate you. Look what you're doing. You should be ashamed. Oh
but by the end of it, because they don't know. And again, they're still like, okay, we need to put on whatever we need to put on in front of him, because if he's out and back home, we're still going to be subject to his wrath or whatever. But it was so telling that ultimately all of the minor children ultimately testify against him. Not one kept that same energy once they got out from under his control. But this and the subsequent events with these gangster wives was too much for me, Tyra. It was too much when we get back to the compound. But I was glad we got this little break and reprieve. I think it got the girls separated. We got to talk to them. And like you said, the FBI got to kind of put on their finishing touches to, I was really hoping, honestly, that the phone thing was going to work. When he said, how do I data reset the phone or whatever, I was like, okay, boom, that's going to be obstruction. At least they'll have them on something. And the fact they didn't find anything on that phone, I think is fishy, one. Two, he was definitely bringing those girls trafficking them. He was definitely taking them to another location. Because what you need, their passports. Like, what do you have planned and going on? Something else was going on there. Yeah, something else was happening.
He was about to go. He had all the bottom bees, as you called them, in the front, because these are the ones I need. These are the ones that are the most committed. And I also have to feed my disgusting needs. So I need some of the little ones too. And then we'll just go and rinse and repeat wherever we land. He was about to go. Somebody told him you need to move, and he moved. And somebody handled that phone. Sam does not give me that he is skilled enough to make sure that I'm not leaving a trace anywhere. I'm never going to send an inappropriate message that could, no. It was nothing on there. It was crystal clear. Nothing was on Sam's phone. He's stupid. You mean tell me there was nothing there? Okay.
They liars. I said, where are the forensic people? They know how to get to the bottom of the phone, because he was trying to factory reset it for a reason.
Even still at that moment, still running his mouth. Oh my God, is there a way that I can factory reset my phone? Stupid. Absolutely stupid. But here we go. Baby, the way, poor Christine, we had to go through photo shoots. We had to go through staging situations, and at this point it's real fishy because now our bottoms are speaking like, hey Sam, honey, I think we maybe need to sit down, maybe back up off of Christine, any involvement that we have with her. We already had, you know, the little stop that ended up where it ended, but you got bailed out and you came home, and that's something that we'll deal with. But you think we should maybe hold off on the interview that you're supposed to have with Christine about why you're so great and why you do what you do, getting all personal? Hush, woman. She said he laid into me something serious. He berated me and was like, "How dare you? Christine is here. Come to see me, Ike. Christine came to see me and document this. My greatness. Of course, I'm going to sit with her." She was like, "Yeah, I'm going to sit it here. I'm going to time it in a certain way. I'm going to do this because, baby, when y'all roll up, y'all roll up. Okay." It only took a whole year. It only took a whole year and then some for them to finally come in and be rated. Child, I was really feeling for Christine because she was hurt. She was hurting for herself and for these women, and it was such a double-edged situation. It's like I'm freeing you and I'm helping you, even though you don't know it. The messages that was sent, the way that Christine was treated, the reaction that they have when he's, you know, arrested and the raid happens. It was like, yeah, I threw everything out the window. I was what? Oh my god! I hid this. I tucked this away. How can they do this? And when we realized, which was crazy to me, because I thought immediately that, but I don't know why I expected that, because this is not a community of context clues. I thought immediately after the raid happened that they would kind of, you know what, ever since Christine got here are these things, let's connect these dots. No, I was like, what kind of department is this? We still have these women who are supposed to have no communication with the young girls that have been removed from the home, communicating. Oh, they got a phone here, we're messaging, and whoever's in charge there received these papers about, you know, Christine and what part that she played that was just balled up and threw in the trash can, and she just was able to put it back together and send a picture to us to let us know that Christine was in on it the whole time. I said, what? Why wouldn't you shred that? Like, I don't know, just things are not being handled appropriately here. And this is so much of a vacuum situation. Christine did everything the appropriate way. She had all the evidence. She even had a witness. And y'all still are leaving her out here to dry along with Julia. Because Julia was hoping, like, since everything is kind of low and nobody knows of the involvement, I can, you know, get and talk to my girls and they won't look at me away because I was a part of taking this heathen down. No. It's baby, the way them kids hung Julia out to dry because you were a part of this. We always knew you're everything that he ever said that you were. It's like, yeah, I kind of low key lost my girls in a way at that particular moment, so that was hurtful. This was just all raggedy, Ashley.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was crazy is that was a completely separate agency. That was an agency in Phoenix. That was the CPS in Phoenix. And I'm like, why would you leave that at the group home? Why would you even have it written down on paper? You protect the people who inform or who give, you know, whatever. That was just sick and sad. And I said, these girls got some chutzpah to go through the trash and pick something up and say, let me see who did it. But yeah, they called Christine everything but a child of God. Called her on the phone. I said, you know what? And they can call you that. But them babies, the little girls will be safe, maybe. But it was for me, the kidnapping that he coordinated from jail. No, because let me go get them girls. Go get my girls. Go get my young ones. And they said, all right, where's the AK? Where's the AR? I said, hold on. Hold on. Christine said, I'm gonna walk you guys out one by one because we're not about to do the violence. I was like, what? They said they're not taking us alive. I'm like, hold on. Hold on. But it just goes to show how their minds were warped at this point. But no, I was glad the little babies got out of the custody. I was shocked of the kidnapping and that they actually did it and got very far with it for me. But I honestly expected Christine to get it worse in the community. I thought it was going to be more than a cuss out that she got, and she got multiple cuss outs. But I thought it was going to be possibly worse than that. But then, of course, it seems that things kind of started to unfold at a faster pace than it had been at that point. So all of the problematic wives, ultimately, I mean, they got locked up. So
Hmm.
Wasn't
I
much
was going to
to
say that I
it.
feel like everyone who maybe wasn't in the automatic range of Sam or in the house, they knew that this wasn't okay and those girls were in danger as well as those kids and the wives and what was going on, but they can't say anything and do anything. Because if it was all of that, Christine wouldn't be allowed back into the community, period. I think they just knew, and it's like, well, it's not my place. That's not what we do here. It's, I hate it. I hate it so much.
So bad.
But speaking of the Ashley said the kidnapping. Um, she was terrifying.
No,
Gnomes was
better now.
Gnomes was scary. I know, but damn Gnomes. Gnomes in those eyes and that commitment. I said, girl, you are scary. Even in the current day interview, I was like, blink twice. Are you okay? Like no Norms in the commitment to the cause and the cult of it all. And I put fanatic. I said, girl, it's giving Aunt Lydia. Are you all right? She's
Mm-mm, she
not.
wasn't.
And just to see, because we have of course there's an abundance of wives, adults and children alike, but we focus towards the end on a moment with Gnomes and how she even ended up here and kind of how she was low-key discarded by her own
Husband.
family. And it's like,
Mhm.
well, this cousin, and it's like, well, he took me in. I owe him to go over here with Sam. I don't want to. And it took a whole lot of convincing and telling me what's right and what's wrong in the word and the prophet. And Lord, burning this into my brain that I have to go over here. And the fact that she just felt like she didn't have a choice, like many of them, but it was like, yeah, let me go. I don't want to, but I am. But then we flip, and she's the one who's the most committed. She said, I knew what to do when he breathed wrong. I knew what his smiles meant, his laugh, what this. I knew when to kind of sit back. I knew when his ego needed to be stroked. I knew what he needed at any given moment. I was that committed. So as terrified as we are, once he's locked up and he says, yeah, get that kidnapping set up. Find those girls, trace whatever you can. She's like, but what if I'm scared? I'm terrified. What if I can't, you know, you do what you have to do. He didn't give a damn. And she was
Mm-mm.
already iffy. But it's like, yeah, I don't care what happens to any of you. Get those girls, figure out the information. Somebody was feeding him information on the inside, and somebody on the outside, that damn department. Because what do you mean we get into the middle of a kidnapping? We find out where these girls are. We get the girls. How? We get the girls. We all try to get back together and get to maybe whatever designated location because this is what Sam instructed us to do. And then in that same area, this lady here, this ninja warrior, because it's like, oh yeah, she ran and got away. How? How? I say I need the police department to be investigated. Why are we not talking about that in this doc as well? Why is he even on camera giving his two piece of sense about his delicate sensibilities and why he couldn't intervene? Because you're a part of it. Because what do you mean she got away? You know, it doesn't give me at any point in time that we're that skilled. Maybe, he told them if the ship goes down, you get those 8R-15, you get whatever you need to do and protect the home front, shoot whatever. It was very Jim Jones. We all gonna drink the Kool-Aid and go down together, getting back into his Jeff Warren bag. If I'm not happy and I can't have my way, you guys can't either. Y'all can really just be deaded. But go get those girls for me. The way that they were able to go and collect the girls, and the other like law enforcement had to intervene. And of course, we see the girls and they child giving just as good as they ever could have gave. I say these mouths are lethal, ain't it? I
Mhm.
thought y'all couldn't do and say those things. But they're feeling smited and everything. But the women, along with gnomes, all of the bottom bees who participated the most in all of the terrible endeavors, they're arrested and we're sent away. And the way Gnomes was speaking in that interview, I was a little nervous because I didn't know if she still had beef. She was the main one who sent, those messages to Christine, and it was like, how could and how dare you? But it in the interview, it didn't feel like we were evolved past anything. It felt like I still can't believe those eyes were terrifying. I still can't believe she did that. It still had a tinge of you got our prophet arrested and you took something away. So when we have that moment in the end, it and this, that, and the third, I was very surprised. I was very surprised. But amidst the kidnapping and her as well as others, rightfully so, getting arrested, it's like, oh, I'm finally having a moment. Being arrested is the best thing that ever could have happened to me because I had a moment to sit with myself, my thoughts, what I had been through, what I had done, and why I was even following this man in the first place. And she has, a revelation and an awakening. But Gnomes was terrifying. I cannot believe that a kidnapping went down and it actually happened. I think that tells us that we're in on it on the back end as far as the police department overall, because there's no way Gnomes in the dead of night, she's getting away. You're crazy.
Man,
Ashley,
she's like,
anything else?
I got up under the tractor trailer and I hid there and I
Girl.
just stayed, girl. Y'all all need. So here's the thing. And some people were saying that they were upset that the adult wives got prison time. And here's my thing. There are things they alluded to in the documentary that they didn't fully come out and say, but if you put two and two together, you see that these adult women were involved in the essay with these young children.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Right is right and wrong is wrong at the end of the day, cult or not. I wasn't mad. What I hated, of course, was just the babies that had been abused. But ultimately, like I said, they come out and all of the babies testify against him. But she turned into a true believer when she said, I warned him. I warned him about Christine. I had a bad feeling from the beginning and he just didn't want to listen to me, but I knew who she was. It took me seeing interviews after this documentary to see the relationship between Gnomes and Christine now. And it's very good. You can tell she's gotten therapy. She's working on herself and all of those things, because here it was like, no, baby, you didn't go from true believer to, that
That's
bad. And I think this is what indoctrination looks like. I do. I think this is what brainwashing and indoctrination can do and what it looks like ultimately. It just pissed me off how much power he had behind bars. The fact that you had these girls willing to risk their life. But you're right. Those young girls had no idea where they were. In Phoenix is a huge city in comparison to where you are. So you mean to tell me you knew your exact location, how to tell the people to get to you. Half of the Peppers didn't even have real phones. So it was just bizarre to me, that whole situation. But yeah, I'm glad Gnome seems more healed today in real life than she
Gnomes
did.
is terrifying. I wouldn't want to see Gnomes in a dark alley. I'm sorry. I don't want no dealings with Gnome. Gnomes was scary. She was committed to be wife 13, child. But getting over here to being well, so look at those soft eyes on Gnomes up there in the picture. She looks soft.
She was pretty there.
But in the end, we get into jail and we get into freedom, catching cases, getting custody, and seeing the light. So, like we said, I like the visual of Gnome. Gnome said, I'm doing things that I never thought I could do. I'm meditating, I'm gardening, I'm putting my career and my education here in this bucket, whatever I want to do, because I know I have the ability to. I'm even close with Christine. We talk, we hang, we this, we're better for it because I know that she did the right thing.
Yeah.
Then we all get to go on a jam. The audacity of Maroney down there, he pissed me off. He pissed me off. These same children that you abused, you were trying to get your wifey over here. Go collect them so they can testify to lift me up. To the point that hopefully I don't really get no jail time like that. Because he just assumed once they were raided and we collected old Samuel up there, is it gonna trickle down to me? Am I just gonna am I gonna walk away unscathed? Is it really? Did you really think that? Well, maybe not. Maybe I need to get my ducks in a row for when I am maybe prosecuted and get someone on my side that can attest to how good of a father and a man that I am. Get my daughters in here. What? That was crazy to me. How dare you? The other one, Torrance, he seemed to take his little fed time and stride. We all, guess who's going to jail? Everybody's going to jail. And of course, we get into Julia being independent and getting well adjusted herself and getting custody of her daughters back and looking forward to starting a new lease on life. But this is what I love to see. Everybody went to jail who was supposed to go to jail. Everybody. I don't know why with Maroney down there, I think they said he had
3 years house arrest.
Yeah,
3 years.
3 years house arrest. I said, what?
That's because he turned state's evidence. They gave him that, but then he got his 25. Go on there.
I saw. I was like 3. Okay, well, whatever. To still frolic and probably bask in some of that behavior that you were even doing to get you in this situation. I said 3 years is crazy. But actually, we're all in jail, and Christine has, good hope in her heart, knowing that she did the right thing, and the community to this day is embracing her.
Yeah. I see your comment, Danae's dialogue. I'm concerned that Julia is still in FLDS clothing. I don't think she'll ever be outside of it.
She ain't
That's
taking it
just
off.
their way of life. What got me, and I knew she was real at the end, is when she said, "Yeah, I left Maroney." She's like, "I can't tell my girls to leave this alone if I'm not willing to leave him." That's when I ultimately knew. I said, oh, "Okay, she's whatever," and she knew it was wrong. Even when she says, God would never be pleased with this. Like, this isn't a God thing. This is sick men, right, doing their thing. I think I feel good with Julia. I feel like her purpose is about her kids, and I feel like it's bigger than that. I pray that's what the situation is. But Maroney, they gave you too much grace because
Girl.
he decided to tell. Well, you needed to tell. You were having sex in rooms with your daughters, maybe with your daughters. I don't. You
I
don't
think
get any
so.
word. You don't get any word. And like I said, they didn't come out and say a lot of stuff. But Desi, I saw that as well. Some of those, it was very Handmaid's Tale. It was
Yeah.
very hold down the little ones. So yeah, no, I don't think they get a pass for that. And then what did Samuel? He got, they said in effect a life sentence, I think was what I ultimately heard. I wanted him to get 99999, Tyra. I wanted to see that on the roster because he don't ever need a chance to be somewhere. I'm glad Christine is still in the community, still doing the work. Well, the only thing that saddens me is that she'll never be able to catch anybody else in this same way ever
Oh, now,
again.
baby, this is real public. They're gonna see Christine. What? Get out of here,
But I
girl.
hope it's inspirational to others. Like I hope it's like a beacon of light to others that there's hope. There's hope for their people, their family, their friends who are there. There was something that was said during the documentary by one of the people, I guess, who had been out, but still kind of affiliated with it. I think it was Noam's auntie or somebody. And she was like, we never taught our girls to think. We never taught our girls to think critically, to ask questions, to question authority, to do any of that. And when you don't, this is the result of it. Yeah. I was satisfied with everybody getting the time that they got ultimately, because going like a mile. Y'all was all wrong.
Yeah, even though they locked up Ashley, it's not over. It's not over. I fear, which I hate, because there are true believers here who want to conduct themselves in the religion in the correct way, but it seems like the nefarious ones outweigh them by so many, because like systematically for years that's just been how things have endured. So it's never going to be a moment of, all right, we got all the predators. No,
No.
it's always that. Actually, is this over? Is somebody rolling up yet again?
No. And we were talking about it in the chat a little bit, or in the comment section a little bit earlier. And it was really kind of this thing around, we think it just affects these people. We really do. A lot of people think, oh, that's just them in Utah, in Arizona, wherever. It's just those Mormons over there. It's just those FLDS. I want y'all to know this happens in Black and brown communities every day. Not this same way, but plural marriage, abuses to children. These things happen under the guise of a faith, under a guise of a religion or whatever. It's never over because the behavior is perpetuated. Like, it's systemic. And believe it or not, there's probably somebody out there right now who's like, all right, that didn't work
That's
here.
what
We're
not
gonna
to
move this
do.
community. Listen, that's the community over here. And this is my shot. They're leaderless again. So let me step in. There's always a demon lying in wait to take over in a situation like that, especially when you have a people that are disenfranchised and vulnerable. And quiet as it's kept, this disrupted their community again. It was Warren Jeffs 2.0. So now what? And I don't want to see another documentary in 5 years saying that somebody else came in and does that. But it'll never be over, because that spirit is just in the earth and they've perpetuated it, and people have a desire for it and they'll keep doing whatever to get it. And it's heartbreaking that these children ultimately are the ones that suffer. I ain't got a problem if you grown and you want to have 18 wives and they're all grown. I don't have a problem if they choose to do it and that's y'all business. To me, it's when you involve the children. We're not gonna take away people's choice, in my opinion. That's the part that
I don't know. I feel like this is a little tinge of why Christine still stays in the community.
I hope so. I hope they're scared. I hope they're like, all right. That's why I think they're going to migrate.
They are, and sadly, they don't have to migrate too far because people will see this or see communities like this and like, oh, even if we're not getting into, the Black church or different scenarios and opportunities for these same situations to happen
Exactly.
that we don't look into, it's like, oh, this is just centralized here. It's just here. The FDLS, it just happens here, right here, and now it's kind of under control. No, never. I don't know how many different shows or documents, or we can have life afters and escaping, and it's just always perpetuated year after year after year, and until something changes like directly at the top, or we have real police that's doing real work, this is going to keep going.
Unfortunately, it's systemic. It's been going on for generations. Like it's been going on for hundreds of years. It's like
Mhm.
not something that's going to break easily,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I'm sure this demon is still whispering something to somebody who still wants to follow him. Thank
Mhm.
you so much for the super chat, Miss Imperfect Woman Live. So, but keep on keeping on. Also, y'all gonna do an interview with a vampire, right? Absolutely. That's
Is
our
water
favorite.
red? Is water red?
That's our
Is the
favorite.
sky
If
blue?
you haven't, anybody who's here and you were not there during the times of us discussing Interview with the Vampire season 1 and 2, go
Child,
back and run it up. Those are some great lives. We had a really, really good time. And
time.
that's where we met. That's where Ashley became my boo. That's where we met at.
A
Go
time
run
is
that up.
that.
And a time was had. Go watch those. We can't wait. Me personally, Lestat was always my favorite. You were always my favorite. Lestat is my favorite. So I'm in the pocket and I'm waiting on the show. Jesus, I'm waiting hard. It's taking too long.
June,
It's taking too long.
June, June, June.
June, raggedy June, because they want us to suffer. They want us to suffer. Oh, but thank you so much for watching. We definitely appreciated that. This was a fun time. Ashley, anything you want to share with the people?
Actually, yeah, hell yeah. Please go run up the uploads. Go check
Yes.
out our Imperfect Women live if you haven't done that. The Testaments is out. If you're not caught up on that, please watch that this weekend and watch our live discussion and my upload for it. And do not forget Euphoria. Season 3 is out tomorrow. We are going to be here with bells on. All right.
Mm,
So make sure you are there for that live discussion when we have it. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit the like button, the notification bell. Hype us
mhm.
up. Everything you do for the people you love, go on and do that for us because we love y'all real bad.
Try to act like y'all don't love nobody. I swear. I swear. But y'all heard what the lady said. Be on the lookout for those things. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Have a lovely rest of your Saturday.
Night.
Split mind, no need an assignment. Straightforward, eyes on the climbing. I decide, no man at the climbing. Burning my third trimester.